so much has happened this week, including this new background with this very dramatic lighting, but I think it works. So, you already know I did my thing this morning. I went to the cafe, I did some sketches. I did 2 sketches. I did one of my cat. I don't think I've really ever painted him before, maybe once. And then one of me and my cat. But I was just like on the topic of self-portraits. I've just been on that all week. So that's what we're gonna get into. At the end of this vlog, I'm gonna be painting a self-portrait. I paint a lot of self-portraits, but a lot of them are from photos like that other people have taken of me. I have a lot of photographer friends, so I have really great like photos of myself, and then also like from photos that I've taken of myself, I'll paint a portrait. And so this time I want to actually like get a mirror, set it up, and do like actually like sit for myself and do a live self-portrait. So that'll be the first time I think I've ever done that. So I'm excited about that. So please stick around. It's gonna be the first time. I wanted to start off with some really exciting news. Your girl, first of all, my lip gloss, but I was published in an art magazine. It's my first ever. It's really, really exciting. I had heard about it. A friend had sent me like an Instagram post. So the name of the art magazine is New American Painters. And so she sent me their post, and they had a call out for a specific region, which I am located in. I think it's Pacific something. I'm not a geography girly, okay? But Los Angeles is a part of that region, and she's like, you should submit. And like, I was like, okay. So I said, like, I think originally you submit about 4 paintings, and then they'll get back to you. So they got back to me and said that I was like accepted, but I have to submit 8 paintings, and the editor will pick their top. He said that they would pick their top ones. So the original submission, they have a juror who picks who's going to be involved in that particular issue. So this particular issue, issue 169, just came out this week. And so that was really exciting. And so it was gonna be like my first time even knowing which paintings they chose. I had to send a bio, and the thing about the bio is like, you know, you have your typical things on there, and you have your artist statement, and like, you know, I'm a writer, so like that wasn't really tough for me. I've always analyzed kind of essentially what I'm doing in terms of painting, and so I was able to kind of write that up real quick. But then they had a section for your resume, so it's just like any exhibitions you've been a part of, any solo exhibitions, any it was just blank, like nothing. I don't have anything. So this is really, really exciting, because this is I feel like the first thing I'm gonna have on my artist resume, that I was published in an art magazine. And I don't know, I'm really like proud of myself, because like all the artists, like if you look at the past issues, like all the artists are so incredible. The jurors are incredible. Like this juror, her name is Jennifer, and she's the associate curator at the LACMA. Like, and she picked me. But like everybody else that's in here, this is the cover. And look how thick it is. It's so crazy. But everybody else in here is so incredible, and I'm just like so honored. Let me show you my spread. I'm not gonna pop in, I'm gonna do it real time. Man, and it's just printed so, God, like, it looks incredible. And so it's just like, look at it. But you see, this is where the resume goes, and there's nothing. It's like, she went to college. She had went to college before. She had went to Cal State. She was born. She was born. But anyway, here's the double spread. Oh, and I feel like they did a really cool way of choosing, because like most of the images have my like signature blue color kind of tying everything in together. But then the last one, my baby gals, my girls. Oh my gosh. Speaking of my girls, not to like go off of this because this is incredible, but look at what I did to my bag. Oh, you know, I'm just going shopping. I might be looking for a book. Oh, my bag. Sorry, what's going on? So, those girls are my girls. Like, I'm kind of creating a motif around them and just really iterating on them. The girls are me. I'm in that original photo, but just like creating like just like a very simplistic version of them as much as I can anytime I think about it. So I had got like this purse from Mango. It's kind of a simple brown leather bag, but then I painted my gals on there, and this was a little while ago. So I called them Fly Girls because if I turn it this way, it's like they're like Powerpuff Girls. They're like flying through the sky. But then Saturday night, I was on the phone with my sister. You know when you're on the phone, like you can just like do things and autopilot. So I was already painting, I was doing my homework, but then like I was down to my homework, and then I just like started randomly painting on my bag in this really like freestyle way. And I wasn't even thinking about it, and I wasn't even high, but I was just like, just in conversation with my sister, not giving anything much thought. And I just did this crazy freestyle. It looked so sick. It was just like, I don't know. I was just like splashing paint places, and then I was like, that kind of looks like a little tugboat. I'll just flesh that out. That kind of looks like a bird. I'll flesh that out. That looks like a boat. Like it just was very like stream of conscious. So it's just like another piece upon another piece upon this bag. But back to the magazine. So the thing that was really cool about it is that, you know, you get a physical copy, but when they post it on Instagram, they put my spread on the post. So there's like 40 artists in here, and they're like incredible. So it was just like, look at this, like incredible, like not, you know, there ain't no slouches. And so for them to like, out of all the paintings, like put my little thing on there, I was so proud. Even though I'm like off Instagram, I can't stand it on there. I just felt like, I don't know, I just felt like very honored. And so I like reposted it just to show respect for that. Like, I see you see me. Like, I know that ain't no small thing, even though it's just a post. It's just like you could have put anybody's art on the particular like front page. So I'm just really proud. But like looking back at this, I think this is where I got like on the idea of like I love this self-portrait. It's so like it's so cool, and that's what that color is for me too. This blue color is like, you know, Picasso has his blue period, and it's all kind of like depressing and sad, but I think like blue in particular for me represents coolness, like very like my personality. I don't mean cool as in like hip, I mean cool as in like calm, a bit stoic, but I think in that's perceived as like a hip coolness. You're able to like control your emotions and like roll with the punches and just let things roll off your back. So that's what that color really represents for me, and I think that's what like Black people represent for me too, this kind of like inherent coolness. And I just think it's such a good color. I think my tones, whether they are or not, I kind of play up the orange color in them. So the orange with the blue is like a really, really great contrast. So I've just been like really iterating on that. But going back to self-portraits, I'm just like thinking about like, I'm kind of obsessed with myself. Not in like I guess I don't know, not in a narcissistic way, but just more in like an expressive way. Like me and my neighbor were walking to the park and this older black guy was like, "Girl, you look just like mine." I was like, "Just like your niece, just like your sister." You don't know how many like times I get told that. I'm just like, anywhere. It could be a security guard, it could be anybody. An older black man is going to tell me I look like someone in their family. And I was telling my neighbor, like, I have this like quintessential black girl thing. And she was like, "Oh, it's kind of like cousin face." And I was like, "What is that?" She's just like, "It's this thing where like you have a face that looks like everyone's cousin. Everybody's like, 'You look like my cousin.'" I was just like, "Dang, I have cousin face." I love that. But it's like, for me, I'm able to like, I have so many ways of expressing myself, whether it's through like dressing or even my hair, that it's like, I'm able to play a lot of roles within Black womanhood, essentially. And I like doing that. So I could have cornrows one day, I can have a silk press one day, and I understand the nuance of all those and what those represent. And then, but being myself within that. So constantly creating a new narrative around each kind of like stereotypical aesthetic. And so I think that's a very like, that's a very analytical way of thinking about it. I just like doing it, but as I think about it more, like what it is I'm doing and why I like it so much, I think that's what it is that I can kind of like morph into anyone. And so like that had me thinking about this particular artist. So these are the books I took to the cafe this morning. I love my little routine I'm in, like going to the cafe, sketching, excuse me. And then I'll do a little like work on the computer as far as like my thumbnails for this video. I'm really proud of this thumbnail. It's very cool. And then I'll just read. And it just sounds so counterintuitive to read in a kind of a loud public space, but I think it's easier for me because, like I said before, I'm not at home. I don't have any distractions in terms of like my stuff. So it's just like, it's also really cool to go in with a point of view. So it's like every Sunday, I'm like this Sunday, I'm like, I'm kind of focused on like self-portraiture, and I'll just go to my art book collection and I'll pull out one that's kind of like specifically about that topic, and then one maybe I just wanted to read. So like this week I took these two books, Toni Morrison, because I haven't fully read this book, but I was reading another interview and they referenced a story in here that she pays tribute to Romare Bearden. So I was like, oh, that could be interesting. So I took this, and then I took this particular book. I have a couple of his books. This is a smaller one, Samuel Fosso. So he's a Cameroonian artist. He's a photographer, and his main thing is self-portraiture. And so he's, if you know like Cindy Sherman or like Nadia Lee Cohen, it's like he's dressing himself up and taking his own photos, but he does a lot of dressing up as well. And I think it's like inspiring of like how I could push myself, because for me it's just like every day I'm waking up and I'm kind of going off of a feeling, but anything that I'm wearing, it pretty much tells a story. And that's what I like too about getting dressed. It's just like, what's this giving? Like, what's this giving means like, what's the story? And but knowing that I can do like aesthetics in terms of like, oh, I'm going for a preppy look, or oh, I'm going for a grunge look, or oh, I'm going for, I can even get more specific, like this is a girl who is just running out to the store but wants to X, Y, and Z. It's like, these motherfuckers is like, no, I'm actually Martin Luther King Jr. So yeah, and like really like committing to the bit, You know what I mean? Committing to the bit. So it's just like, I want to do that. I want to commit to the bit. This is funny because I feel like Martin Luther King Jr. has been coming up so much this week, just randomly. Like I was on a flight and I was watching Dreamgirls, my favorite movie of all time. And I was just like, when I'm watching on a plane, I'm able to like hyper focus, and I'm just like, you know, you just stuck in one place. And I just was thinking of why I love this movie so much. But they were doing a good job of contextualizing the time period. And they had this moment about Martin Luther King's speeches and how they pressed them on vinyl. So that was one thing. And then literally last night, I was watching Origin for the first time. And again, it's a section about Martin Luther King Jr. and his comments on the caste system in India. I sound really smart right now. But this is not, I'm not smart, okay, you know. And then I was like, dang, everything I'm watching is Martin Luther King Jr. And I look to the left and I see this freaking fan that I had got from the flea market a long time ago. And of course, like, Toni Morrison in this book has some writing about Martin Luther King Jr. So I don't know, I like synchronicities like that. I figure out why later, but I love that. So I'm gonna like pop up some things I flipped through in this book, but his other book, Auto Portrait, is so gorgeous, so good. I love it. I love a little reader, and I love this color. It looks so good. Like when you think of coffee table books, you think of these big ornate books, but I love a little like pop, a little reader. Like even this one is like, I love this blue, and it's just like, you know, coffee table books don't have to be as big as the coffee table. So that was a lot. I got through a lot. We're gonna do a self-portrait, like I said, but just even like thinking of self-representation, it's like his story was interesting because he talks about how he was a sick child, a disabled child. And so he had a hard childhood. And so there were not a lot of pictures of him. And I think traditionally in his culture, you're supposed to have a 3-month-old photo, and he didn't have that photo. And he thinks that kind of contributes to his like fierce, obsessive, like need for creating images. And I'm just like, damn, I can really relate to that, because my mother has told me verbatim out of her mouth, like, look, we was going through a hard time when you came along. I'm the fourth child. I'm the youngest, so I'm the last, and I'm the fourth. And being the age I am now, I'm like, girl, I can barely take care of myself. So, hey, but I think like my obsession with capturing myself, just like him, is from not having these like quintessential moments, these photographs. Like, my brothers and my sister have these photos in the bathtub. I don't have one of those, or like taking a bath in a sink, or just like birthday photos when you're like, my sister has a really like gorgeous photo when she's a little girl in this really pretty blue and polka dot dress, and she's blowing out her candles. I don't have one of those. She has this cute photo on a horsey, like clearly they got a horse for the birthday party. Like these typical things that I don't have. So I think reading that about him made me realize, like, oh, that's why like every childhood photo of myself I guarded with my heart, and I had them all around the house. And I think a part of it is also like very healing to do that, because I think there's certain stories that you tell yourself when you're younger because of things that happen, and you have to realize that like you were 7 years old or 6 years old when you made up that story, or when you kind of interpreted that situation. And so now, like, being able to have those photos up now, I can look at it as an adult and be like, you're clearly the cutest little freaking girl, or you're clearly not weird, or you're not, all these like stories. Or you can be like, wait, that person that said that is actually a drunk. Like, just like being able to look at something and think about it with your adult mind, I think is very, 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 very healing for your inner child. So this is one particular photo that I love because I think it speaks to my, like, I'm the same. Like, that's what I love about it. It's just like, I love the idea of identity, but I really don't want to over identify. So I think that's why I'm kind of like shape shifting so much, because I don't want to think I know who I am. You know what I mean? I just am, and like let it be that kind of freeing. But anyway, so this is a photo I love. And so my new favorite thing is like getting mat board and just like kind of creating my own shapes within it. And so this is one I created with this color, but I think it goes well. And I just think that's a fun kind of exercise as well, of just like framing without a frame. Oh, I covered the light, that's kind of cool. Framing without a frame and just playing with the brown and the pink, like for a pop. I love like this wood panel wall. I'm totally off topic, but to me, this is a self-portrait, because like I'm doing with photos that someone else has taken of me, I am taking them and creating my own portrait through a painting. But even with this, you know, like pairing it with a particular color, like this color to me is just like the epitome of like sentimentality, but it's also like the epitome of royalty. And I feel like a lot of books that I love, like Dina Lawson, even the book I showed you last week, Samaya Critchlow and Carrie Mae Weems, they have these purple books. And to me, that's ultimate like femininity, elegance, but in this very particular way. So it's just like, this is a self-portrait, you know? And so, yeah, just getting into the idea of the self-portrait, what it means to me, why I'm doing it, and how I can even like push myself further to like, you know, push these ideas further. So that is, I think, everything. Let me look at my notes, because if that's everything, I absolutely killed it. Oh, I love this quote with Toni Morrison. She was just talking about Romare Bearden's work, and she had this quote of like, when the urgency of de-stereotyping is so strong in you, it can push one easily into sentimentality. And I'm like, first of all, my gal, but also just like, yeah, like I didn't even feel like I was de-stereotyping like little black girls or black women or black girls in general, but it's like, I think that is what I'm doing in terms of like showing the complexities and the nuances and the like adorableness, the softness, and she explains it so well that like when it's so strong in you, it can push you into sentimentality. And that's where I think I am, particularly in my art practice. So I think that's it. Let me say, yeah, it's just like, what is it? That's what I was exploring. Like, why the freak am I painting myself so much? Like, what is it about a self-portrait? And so I love reading. I love reading about other artists, and I love just like researching and analyzing, and then being able to put it into practice is just like the whole, it's everything for me. It feels like I've finally found this kind of completed practice, versus like, oh, I just love reading, or oh, I just love it. It's just like a total package now. And so like even these episodes are just, to me, so easy to film, because it's all I do every week is I have a new thought, you know, that I want to explore. And this like gives me a space to kind of document it and then like put it into practice. So thank you for watching. This is my new background. These are my glossy lips, and let's get into a sitting self-portrait. Happy Sunday. I know I was forgetting one thing. Next week is my last class. I didn't talk about school at all. You know, I love school. Next week is going to be my last painting class. So this painting class, we had two like paintings that we did over time. So this was my first one. This was a still life, which I think came out pretty sick. I've never done a still life before. So it was two things I had never done. Really, it was like a still life and a landscape. So this is my still life. The apple is eating. I love this little bowl. The shadows are cool. So that's my still life. And then I have a landscape painting. This is whip, but I think it's coming out really good. So this is like based on this photo. I'll pop it in. Based on this photo I took when I went to Moab, Utah. Yeah. And so yeah, it's coming out pretty sick. It's not done yet, but I'm really proud of it, like for what it is already. And so those are my kind of like two projects, but I still have to do a lot of homework and everything like that. But these were the like in class assignments. So I'm gonna finish that and I'll show you the finished next week on my last day of class. So yeah, like a lot's been going on because I worked on that landscape last night. I painted that bag 2 nights ago, and I'm just like, I'm really in my painting bag with no particular, like, I'm not doing things for any reason other than I want to do them. They excite me, they fulfill me, and they're pushing me. So I'm really gonna get to painting now. Thanks.
appetite. Don't leave me here high and dry. Oh, but I don't wanna jinx it, baby. Let's not get ahead of my time. Oh, but I don't wanna miss you, baby. So I stand up and speak just my mind. Oh. You're chilling when the rain. You're some kind of butterfly. Baby, you give me midnight. You whip up my appetite. Don't leave me here high and dry. Baby, you give me ice and fire. You're channeling wind and rain. You're some kind of butterfly. Don't leave me here high and dry. Oh.
aren't real. Like, I've done 2 sketches, I filmed this vlog, I did a self-portrait, read a couple books, and it's 5:30 p.m. Oh, look at this self-portrait. It's like a reference to David Hockney. It's like multiple pieces of paper put together. These are some other ones that are cute. Quickies. See you next week.